The Big 12 is not going to add Gonzaga and Uconn in expansion. It's just not going to happen. The basketball-only deal isn't going to work. Uconn, 50th in the country in revenue. That does not help their case to make it to the Big 12. And for Gonzaga, they don't even make the list for USA Today in their revenue either. What you're staring down the barrel of is two teams that are great at basketball who won't make it into this conference. Sorry, but it doesn't change the fact this is still the best conference in college basketball. I've said this on multiple radio shows over the course of the last couple of weeks, even on this show. It is impossible to judge an entire league in a single elimination tournament. And I know that typically the champion of March Madness is a team that's really good from a metrics and analytics standpoint. Could come from the Big 12 in the last 5 years. Two champions, Kansas and Baylor, have come from this conference. In the last 5 years, 3 teams have played for a national championship. It is tough to say you're the best conference when you don't have as much success in March. But again, there's a reason that Oakland happens. When St. Peter's beats Kentucky, it doesn't mean that the Patriot League or whatever they're in is better than the SEC, that you can't default to that. If 2 Patriot League teams beat 2 SEC teams, it still doesn't legitimize the Patriot League over the SEC. Reason being, we call it March Madness, not March regularity. What you get in this tournament is chaos. And chaos, therefore, has nary a definition in deciding how conferences can be ranked. What you have to do is instead look at the numbers. Houston, the number 3 team in the country. Iowa State, the number 8 team in the country. For Baylor, number 15. BYU, number 18. Kansas, the same team that has won a national championship in the last 5 years, who has dominated the Big 12 over the course of the last 25 years, if not more. Yes, more. Number 27 in the nation. They are behind a BYU, the same BYU who lost to Duquesne. There have been legendary college basketball teams. I'm going to take you back to that 38-1 Kentucky team that lost to Frank Kaminsky in Wisconsin, and that Wisconsin team loses to Duke. Who was better? If I asked you and any other ball knower in America, which of those two teams between Kentucky and Wisconsin was better, you would say Kentucky. You would say it pregame. You'd probably say it postgame. But it is March Madness. Things happen that aren't supposed to. And when you start looking for patterns in round one, wild patterns from a conference standpoint, you're not going to find it. It's not that the Big 12 didn't match up well with the Mountain West. It's not that the Big 12 didn't match up well with the Big East. It's not that there are too many guys injured. There are guys injured across the board. Instead, it's the parity of this of this format. So then I see like a Texas at 25. I told you Kansas was at 27. Texas Tech at 31. Cincinnati at 39. They didn't even make March Madness. TCU at 43. This is all per Ken Palm. Oklahoma at 46. I'm looking at the bulk of our league, all sitting in the top 50 at 10 teams, 12 teams that at some point in time this season legitimately believed they would make March Madness. That is insane. It's unprecedented. Just because of poor performance in a tournament that is built for powerhouse schools to have poor performances, I don't think we can say the Big 12 is diluted. Now, the one-and-done era has made things complex. Look at a Baylor that won a national championship without one-and-done players, has gone to the one-and-done pool the last 3 years and lost in the first weekend. See a Kansas team that dipped into the portal and had a couple of portal guys in their roster led by one and Hunter Dickinson who just couldn't put it together at the very end. And Johnny Furphy never became a complete star for the team to lead them in March Madness. Let's go around to a Kentucky who's gone the one and done route. Those teams are some of the most talented in the country, Baylor, Kentucky, and Kansas. That can't be argued. That's objective. They're some of the most talented teams in the country. But the era of the portal, the era of NIL, the era of the one-and-done thing happening in college basketball has destroyed some of the most talented teams because you've got 2 guys, 3 guys who are star-studded freshmen, or that 3-ish star guy who came into college at Western Kentucky, and now he's a 5th year and he's playing for your team, and it's his only year to play for your school, and he's playing alongside 2 freshmen who are lottery draft picks. That is a great recipe to lose in March Madness. Dan Hurley, who won the national championship, said was Tracy Wolfson, is that who it is, who interviewed him after the game, that he built this roster on guys that are future NBA players who are not selfish. You don't have a lot of the one and done types on national championship teams. It doesn't mean that Oakland, who has stayed together or has that transfer portal guy who is a glue guy and isn't highly touted across the country, doesn't mean that Oakland is automatically better than Kansas overall. What it means is that March Madness exists. I don't feel as though the Big 12 even needs this level of justification when the numbers, when the stats, when the figures back it up. If Baylor played Clemson, even if Kansas played Gonzaga 10 times over, the odds are in the favor of the odds are in favor of the Big 12. Houston, if Houston goes out there and plays Duke 5 times, 10 times, healthy or not, let the game play out the way it plays. I still think this. I know this league, based on what Ken Palm and shot quality and Evan Mia and Haslametrics tell me, is elite and the best in the country. So I don't think that Uconn winning a national championship or 2 in a row, I don't think the Gonzaga and Uconn staying out of the Big 12 is any reason to say this league is worse. This league is bad. This league is overrated. This league is not the best in the nation. It is damn good. Not going to change. It was historic this year, and it's going to get even better when Arizona comes in and Texas and Oklahoma leave. Heck, Colorado might add you something. Utah might add you something. I think the other Hurley guy is still at Arizona State. Just not going very well. But maybe they give you something, hopefully. Coming up, what if we give you, as in Kentucky, something, as in Scott Drew? This is Locked On Big 12, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's show is brought to you by eBay Motors. eBay Motors is where I go when I have car troubles. And by car troubles, I mean the bottom of my Nissan Maxima has completely fallen out. There's a little plastic part. And where I park at work every day has a little boom, curb, if you will, that I have to drive over. And when I drive over it, the plastic piece of my car tends to fall off and scrape the ground. So I go to eBay Motors. When I say eBay Motors, find me a new plastic piece. Passion, patience, drive. Keep your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and even that plastic piece that goes underneath your car. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit every time, or your money back. eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. All the parts at the prices you want. Make your car the MVP. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit. Only available to U.S. customers. That's eBay Motors.